You click Buy Now, and a few hours later, a box is moving toward your door. It feels almost immediate. But inside the warehouse, your order has triggered a carefully timed conversation between databases, cameras, shelves, robots, and people. The machines may look like the stars of the show, yet the real intelligence is mostly invisible. It lives in 3 constantly changing maps, where every product is, where every robot can move, and where the system needs human help. Once you see those maps working together, a robotic warehouse stops looking like a room full of gadgets. It starts looking like a living traffic system. The first map is the inventory map. A modern warehouse does not simply know that it has a certain bottle, cable, or packet somewhere in the building. It needs to know the exact storage location, the container holding it, the quantity available, and whether that quantity has already been promised to another order. In a well-run operation, every important movement changes the digital record. A product arrives. It is identified, counted, placed into a tote or onto a shelf, and assigned an address. From that moment on, the physical item and its digital identity must stay together. That sounds straightforward until thousands of orders arrive at once. One customer may buy 3 products stored in 3 different aisles. Another may order one of the same products seconds later. The warehouse software has to decide which items can travel together, which order is urgent, and which robot can perform the work without creating a traffic jam. An online order is not handed to one mechanical shopper, it is broken into tasks. This is the first surprising idea. The system does not think primarily in orders, it thinks in movements. Fetch this tote, visit this location, present this item, carry the completed container to a buffer. A warehouse management system keeps the inventory record and creates work. An execution of fleet system then turns that work into a sequence the machinery can actually perform. The distinction matters because a perfect decision for one robot can be a poor decision for the building. If every machine takes the shortest route at the same time, they may all arrive at the same intersection. That brings us to the second map, traffic. Autonomous mobile robots are not miniature cars wandering wherever they please. Their allowed operating area is defined, and their position must be continually estimated. Depending on the system, onboard sensors can observe walls, racks, markers, and other features. The robot compares those observations with its internal map to work out where it is. Its navigation software then chooses a path, adjusts its motion, and reacts when the route is blocked. But knowing where one robot is does not solve the fleet problem. A central coordinator may be assigning missions to dozens or hundreds of machines. It has to prevent deadlocks, reserve narrow passages, balance charging needs, and keep busy zones from becoming saturated. Imagine a city in which every taxi belongs to the same dispatcher, every destination is known in advance, and the street plan can be changed by moving a shelf. That is closer to warehouse traffic than ordinary road traffic. The challenge is not merely speed, it is repeatability. A robot that reaches the correct aisle most of the time is not enough. It must stop in a predictable position so that a container can be transferred or a robotic arm can reach the right place. That is why industrial testing separates navigation from docking and manipulation. A small position error that seems harmless while driving can become a failed pick when a gripper is trying to lift a flexible packet. Now the third map begins to matter, the exception map. Videos of robotic warehouses often make picking look effortless. A camera looks into a tote, an arm descends, and the correct item rises. Behind that smooth movement is a difficult perception problem. The system must distinguish one object from another, estimate their shapes and depths, find a surface the gripper can use, and choose an approach that will not collide with the container. Uniform boxes are relatively friendly. Shiny wrappers, soft bags, tangled objects, transparent packaging, heavy products, and items with an awkward center of gravity are not. A suction cup needs a surface that can form a seal. A mechanical gripper needs enough space to close. Even after contact, the system needs evidence that the object was actually lifted. A good warehouse, therefore, does not pretend every pick will be perfect. It plans for failure. If a robot cannot confidently handle an item, the sensible response is not endless repetition. The tote can be routed to a person at a goods-to-person station. Instead of making the worker walk through long aisles, The system brings the problem to a fixed, organized workspace. The screen can identify the item and destination, while scans or sensors confirm the transfer. The person handles the ambiguous case, and the automated flow continues. This is why the most capable warehouses are not necessarily the ones with the fewest people. They are the ones that give people the right work. Humans are remarkably good at recognizing unusual packaging, correcting damaged stock, noticing contamination, resolving count discrepancies, and adapting when reality does not match the database. Robots are good at repeating movements, carrying loads, and following assignments without fatigue. The strongest design uses those differences instead of forcing one side to imitate the other. There is also a practical reason to reduce unnecessary walking and awkward reaching. Traditional item picking can involve repetitive hand, wrist, and shoulder movements, as well as bending, lifting, pushing, and pulling. Bringing containers to an ergonomic station can remove much of the travel and place common work near a comfortable height. It does not remove every workplace risk, and automation introduces risks of its own, but it can change where physical effort is required. Between picking and packing, many orders enter a part of the system that looks almost boring, the buffer. In reality, it is one of the warehouse's most useful inventions. A buffer is not just a place to wait, it is a time management tool. Suppose one order contains 4 items. 3 are picked quickly, but the 4th needs human assistance. Sending the first 3 straight to packing would occupy valuable space while the order remains incomplete. Instead, the warehouse can hold completed totes in known locations, continue other work, and release the order only when every part is ready. The buffer absorbs differences in timing. It keeps a small delay in one aisle from immediately stopping the packing line. This reveals another hidden truth. A fast machine does not guarantee a fast warehouse. If picking outruns packing, completed work piles up. If packing outruns replenishment, robots arrive at empty locations. If too many orders are released together, intersections clog. The execution system must watch the whole flow and decide not only what should happen next, but what should wait. Replenishment is the quiet process that keeps the promise alive. Every successful pick reduces stock at a location. Before that location runs empty, more product must arrive from reserve storage or inbound pallets. The inventory map changes again. A tote is moved, quantities are confirmed, and future tasks are redirected. If this record is wrong, the robot can navigate perfectly to an empty bin. The machine has not failed. The warehouse's memory has. Packing adds another layer of coordination. The correct items must be consolidated, checked, placed into suitable packaging, labeled, and sent toward the right carrier. Some facilities automate part of this work, while others depend heavily on people. Either way, the shipping deadline works backward through the building. A parcel promised to leave on an evening truck may receive a different priority from one scheduled for tomorrow. All of this happens inside a controlled operating zone. Safety is not a decorative sensor added at the end. International requirements for driverless industrial trucks treat the control system, guidance, power, operating area, and foreseeable hazards as parts of one system. Floors, crossings, pedestrian areas, visibility, maintenance procedures, and emergency behavior all affect safe operation. A robot may slow or stop when its sensors detect an obstacle, but safe operation still depends on how the entire workplace is designed and managed. And what happens when the network drops, a sensor becomes dirty, or a container is placed in the wrong location? Mature automation is designed around recovery. Machines can stop safely. Tasks can be reassigned. A human can inspect a blocked aisle or correct an inventory record. Manual procedures may keep critical work moving. The glamorous version of automation imagines a system that never fails. The engineering version assumes something eventually will and makes the failure understandable. That is the real meaning of a warehouse that thinks. It is not a building with one giant artificial brain. It is a loop. Observe the physical world, compare it with the digital map, choose the next task, move, scan, pick, and confirm. Then update the map and begin again. The next time a parcel arrives, consider how many small agreements had to remain true. The item had to be where the database expected. A route had to stay open. A gripper or a person had to make the correct pick. A buffer had to release the order at the right moment. A label had to connect the box to the right vehicle. The robots are easy to see. The remarkable part is the invisible choreography that keeps every map aligned with reality.